Well, hello, and welcome to Stop Let's Team Up My Legion Adventure 86, where I'm doing a show by myself for the first time in a while, guys. Haven't really been in that mindset. Was going to do a new issue thing, but I said I'm going to wait on that. So I'm going to cover 2 issues of Superboy. Really, Superboy featuring or starring the Legion of Superheroes. We're at that era of the long-running Superboy book. And we're going to be doing issues 206 and 207. There are 4 stories altogether between the two. So I'm going to do these. It's not going to take super long. I'm just going to kind of give you an overview and what I think of them. We're in the Mike Grell era, so there'll be a lot of I love Mike Grell, I love Mike Grell, I love Mike Grell. Because that's it. This was a great time to become a Legion fan, was early on in Dave Cockrum's run and going right into Grell's run. Even when you had different artists that may not have been up to their standards, you love this team so much because of them. And this is just such a great era, and I like talking about it. I wish I had a guest, but I kind of want to get Legion back up because everybody's talking about Legion again. There's an evil Legion coming in. Mark Waid's new DC Universe stuff, I'm all on board for it. I'm loving it. But I haven't been reading a lot of Legion. I've been listening to Jim and Jay on Long Live the Legion. I'm on their 4th episode, the second part of the Saturn Girl overview. It's a great podcast on Podbean. I will have a link in the socials and in the notes to the show. But let's get to start with the first issue, which will be, as I go back to Mike's Amazing World, this is Superboy 206, Superboy starring the Legion of Superheroes. It was the January-February 1975 cover date. It was on sale October 24th, 1974. 4 days before my 10th birthday. So you see how good a brother he is. By 10, he had me hooked on Legion of Superheroes. It was a bi-monthly. It was a quarter. Oh, my God. There are 32 pages in the book because you got 2 stories in each issue. Edited by Murray Boltinoff. The first story is The Legionnaires Who Haunted Superboy. It is a 13-pager. It takes place on the Legion of Superheroes of Earth 1. Kind of going with that. I like these Earths because when we get to later Legion, what Earth are they really on? It's just very confusing. I need to get Jimbo back on and talk more about that because I like he's clearer of mind than I am. Once I get past reboot, I get confused. So it's written by Cary Bates, who I've said nasty things about him, but this is a very good Cary Bates song. I'm reevaluating Cary Bates. I really was. He's always been hit or miss for me. Artist Mike Grell. Mike Grell is one of the best Legion artists of all time, I think. He's Warlord, and his DC work is just incredible. I gotta say that of all the stuff he's done, and I like John Sable, I like other things he's done, but I think his Green Arrow, his DC stuff's his best. It just really is. It just really is. Legion, Warlord, Green Arrow. You can't go wrong, and there's a reason why they're all very favorites. I'm really looking for the first Warlord Omni to come in because I think I only read Warlord once, and it was probably one of the only sword and sorcery books I ever read religiously. But that's a sidetrack. Just more love for Mike Grell. It's been reprinted twice. Legion of Superheroes Archives Volume 11 from 2001, which is what I'm reading it in. It was also in Showcase Presents Legion of Superheroes Volume 5, 2000, trade back 2015. The roll call is Brainiac 5, Mon-El, Saturn Girl, and Superboy. So the synopsis of this is Superboy is haunted by, he thinks he's being haunted by Ferro Lad and Invisible Kid, both who have died, and Invisible Kid just died a couple issues ago. So, as always, in these eras, you would have a great cover, and the cover for this is, it's got like the cigar band, not the cigar band, because I like that Pete at Earth 2 podcast calls out when there was a band, very thin band at top of every cover, it was the cigar band. But this is when basically you had a big banner. And basically, you could see the title above the next thing on the rack, but you couldn't see the cover, but the cover of this is great. It's Superboy. It's a Nick Cardy cover. Of course it is. It's always a Nick Cardy cover. These things are great. Is it? Is it Cardy? Yeah, it's Nick. It's Nick Cardy, and you see the ghost of Invisible Kid and the ghost of Ferro Lad flying. There's a robot beating up Superboy, and he's saying, Ferro Lad, Invisible Kid, but you're both dead. And now, how can you save me? And at the bottom is the Legionnaires who haunted Superboy, plus Welcome Home, Daughter, Now Die, which sounds like an exploitation movie, and we'll get to that. But this is set in the 1950s. Smallville. Superboy lives in the 50s in Smallville. And that's where the story takes place. So there isn't a synopsis in Mike's Amazing World. So we're going to live with that one. So I'm just going to go through because these are very short comics, and I don't really, the fandom wiki has a synopsis. You're going to too long, but basically it's 1950 Smallville. He's going to tear down a building to make way for a new playground, and he's flying to do it. The wall starts coming down by himself, and you see somebody shaped like a tumbler or ball, someone doing a cannonball into the water. He's in shadow. The building comes down. Superboy flies, and he sees that it's Ferro Lad. And he's like, it's impossible. It just can't be. And Ferro Lad flies over. Superboy thinking to himself, I still miss word balloons. Is thinking to himself, it may have been an hallucination, but I just imagined I saw him. Gotta sit down, get a grip on myself. But no, he was real. All right? This rubble at my feet, that's proof he was here. Ferro Lad was really here. And then the caption box with it's a yellow box with a pink question mark. Who is the ironclad character called Ferro Lad? Why is Superboy so bewildered by his unexpected appearance? All will be explained, but first, the mystery deepens. And so we cut to the next day where Superboy is walking with Susie, whoever Susie is. I'll go back and figure that out, but I don't know who she is because these Superboy comics did not have drama going on. There's a man parachuting. Clark can see him. He's taking off. He starts to unbutton his shirt, and all of a sudden, there's a parachuter, and he's falling, and Susie goes, "Oh, Clark, that skydiver was blown off course. His chute didn't open. He'll be killed." And then Clark's about ready, and all of a sudden the guy stops falling. It looks like he's flying, and then Superboy realizes that the parachute is going to be slowly put down on the roof of a nearby building. Clark thinking, no one, they can see, but my X-ray vision will show. No, not another one. It's happening again. I must be imagining it this time. Susie goes, hey, some costume figure just materialized out of thin air. He must have been the one who rescued the parachute, but isn't Superboy the only power here? Invisible Kid. The others see him too. He must be as real as Ferro Lad was, but how? It can't be possible for either of them to be here. And Superboy starts recording what he's seen into his Legion of Superhero log book. And you can see behind him he's got the Star Trek shuttlecraft and some other spaceships, including a model of a Legion spaceship. And he turns around, and there they are. We're real. Ferro Lad, Invisible Kid, but I'm seeing ghosts. And then Invisible Kid goes, and in the flesh, examine us with your X-ray vision and see for yourself. It's true. Gasp, I see living tissue. And then we get a little flashback of how Ferro Lad died in the explosion with the Sun Eater, and Valdis crushed Invisible Kid a couple issues ago. So they talk about it, and they're trying to figure it out as 3 team members. And I gotta say, it's nice to see Invisible Kid and Ferro Lad drawn by Grell. It's really Invisible Kid. I don't know what was going on here, but they kill a bunch. They got rid of Invisible Kid, and then they get rid of Matter Eater Lad, not through death, and then they get rid of Chemical King. Relatively in this section, and it's Bates and Shooter are taking turns still, I think, at this point. But I don't know why they were getting rid of them. I just don't. But, you know, the Invisible Kid was a great character. Not as good as Jacques, because Jacques is my Invisible Kid. But there's an alarm, and they realize that there's a robot buried somewhere in the outskirts of Smallville. And Superboy scatter. So they're battling it. Superboy gets zapped by its energy. And Invisible Kid and Ferro Lad, they know something about it. It's like he goes, so Invisible Kids, don't you remember Superboy? Ferro Lad and I already died in the line of duty. We're prepared to sacrifice again as if necessary. So that they know it, but they know it's killing Superboy, so they're going to take care of the robot. And they use their powers. Invisible Kid tries to distract it. Ferro Lad runs into it and destroys it, and Superboy is saved. Invisible Kid and Ferro Lad go to their time sphere and they go home. And just as they're about to land at Legion headquarters, there's a massive explosion. And there stands Saturn Girl in her bikini costume, Mon-El in his classic, and Brainiac 5. And they're talking about that they were clones. And they're these clone banks, and they're all the Legionnaires' names. And they were testing them, but they don't last. They tend to blow up. And so one day maybe they can bring them back by cloning them, and they call and let Superboy know. So it's really odd, but these things are all very, reset to the end. I do kind of think of this thinking that they have clone bank, and now I kind of go, whoa, okay, was this the issue that Giffen was people doing Legion 5 years later? I guess that was Keith, because he quits after this, but these are where the clones come from. The Batch 28. I think it's really nice, and it's just beautifully drawn. So let's get on to a new Legion featurette, which is the second comic in here, which is Welcome Home, Daughter, Now Die, which is a Karate Kid and Princess Projecta story. And the credits on this one it's a 7-pager. It's written by Cary Bates, Mike Grell. Again, same 2 places it was reprinted. And the lineup is just Princess Projecta and a Karate Kid. So Projecta has been sick with a Rigel fever. Is it Rigel fever or is that Star Trek? Rigel fever. Okay, that's on Star Trek. And she's going to head home after she's been recuperating. She's feeling better. So she's going to go home. She has duties as a princess. And she flies off in their cool spaceship. And Karate Kid's he's pretty much a dick. He's like, why, you should be I've been waiting at your bed, but you feel like you have to go see your family. You should show me some attention. That's a needy boyfriend, and it's uncool, Val. It's uncool. So she flies off, she lands, she's treated by knights in shining armor because that's the way her world works, and she's taken to the castle, and she's surprised to find someone on her father's throne, and his name is Morgou. I like how it's like Morgan Le Fay, or, it's just weird. The weird space names, silly space names. If y'all don't listen to Flight Through Eternity, it's a great Doctor Who podcast. And Nathan Bottomley uses that term. A lot of you also uses it in Untitled Star Trek podcast. You've heard me gush about him and Joe are the greatest. It is the greatest Star Trek podcast of all time. I listen to it religiously. It is my Friday joy, most of Fridays. But he says space names, and they have space names in this. It's Legion. So she is, Morgou is going to put her in his family's in the dungeon. He lets her go, but he takes her ring, and she is left outside the castle, and there's this giant 3-eyed monster. She thinks it's a projection. She's fighting it. None of her projection powers work. And all of a sudden, Val comes up, picks her up, and he slaps her, which is uncool, Val. But you're just trying to... she's in a spell because they're really on a deserted planet. And Morgou, the creature that was tracking her, she thought was an image, is actually a creature. So it's work. So they battle it, and Karate Kid karate chops it, and it is overcome through Karate Kid's illusion. She has an illusion of Karate Kid being wrapped up, and she saves the day, and they make up. So it's basically just, do a damsel in distress. I do not like the way Projecta is portrayed kind of here. I don't like really... Some of it doesn't hold up with the way the women are treated. I think Legion, in a lot of ways, had stronger female characters than most books. I really do. I think they did couples best, and they did it. The couples, the interconnectivity of characters in Legion, and I mean that throughout the different incarnations of it that I've read in their entirety. That is the strength of it. Legion is the interconnectivity of all these very different characters are interlocked. I believe Alan Projecta. I think it gets better as the writing styles change, as it goes more from the one and done, from the kiddie books to the mid-teens books, to when Legion was up and down a lot after I don't want to say just during the Conway era, it's up and down. I think a little bit. I think the short Thomas era is really not very good. When I get to that, I'm going to probably do a whole episode reevaluating because I've said some really harsh things about Roy's writing in it, and Roy is one of my favorite comic writers of all time. But some people just shouldn't do certain books. But that's my opinion that was formed in the 80s. Now it's 2025. So I want to reevaluate it. But I don't like the way she's prepared these things sometimes. I think what got me bogged down is these are kind of repetitive and they're fun and they're joyous. And I have a nostalgia being a little kid laying down in the living room, my brother giving me these and having me read them. So it kind of bugged me. But it's okay. It is what it is. It's just the shorter ones are a little more like that. I don't think these are that bad or that sexist or that they're not uncomfortable, but they are, as the kids say, the cringe, I guess. So let's move on to 207, which was March, April, cover date 1975. It's still bi-monthly. It came out the day before Christmas. It was a Christmas Eve gift to the world because it came out December 24th, 1974. Again, written, edited by Murray Boltinoff. The first story is The Rookie Who Betrayed the Legion, 13-pager. Again, Legion of Earth 1, Cary Bates, Mike Grell, reprinted in the same two books. The roll call in this story, though, is Chameleon Boy, Colossal Boy, Lightning Lash, Shrinking Violet, Superboy, and Timberwolf, and the villain is Universo. Last appeared in Adventure Comics 360, next appears in Superman Family 207. Really? Because I had just listened to Long Live Legion's episode about the Universo project, which is a great 4-part story by Levitz and LaRocque, and I see of him as a bigger big bad. Universo is there's more gravitas to Universal in those eras, so I'm gonna have to see which. Oh, it's a Legion story. Oh, it's a Supergirl story, guest starring the Legion. I hope that's somewhere in. Oh, it's never been reprinted. That's amazing. That's amazing. It's from 1981 from Superman Family. I'm going to write this down. We're going to cover this somewhere. Ooh, a Legion story I've never read. That's very neat. I didn't know that. I just had to shoot Kirby off a little text. I hope he's probably laughing at me because I said I had to tell somebody. But Universo is last seen. He's the villain in this. I've just given it away for you. 207, and he's next appears in Superman Family, Supergirl story with the Legion in it, in 207 of Superman Family. Very kind of very weird. I kind of like that a great deal. I will be covering that maybe sooner than it comes because it takes place in 1981. It's a Jack Harris, Roy Thomas script. Pencilers. Oh, it's Jay Winslow Mortimer. With Vince Coletti. I don't know how good. I'm going to have to see it. It's got a great lineup. There's blocks in it. And I'm all in. That's going to be cool. But let's get back to this one. So basically, we got a great cover where Superboy is berating. It's a Grell cover. Okay, Grell cover. There's a science cop in the very cool science cop uniforms of this era that's going for a while, the black and gray. I really like him. The rookie, he is a rookie cop, not a rookie Legionnaire, but Superboy's going, there's a spy among us, and he's just made a colossal mistake, and you see a giant hand above the guard. It's very cool. And the inner splash page has Light Last, Timberwolf, Superboy, the cop, flying off with the title The Rookie, and it's another Cary Bates, Mike Grell, as I said. So it starts with the president of Earth, who I'm not sure which president of Earth this is. I guess it's I knew they used to say his name, but he's having a news that Universo has escaped, and the Legionnaires are by using his hypnotic powers. The Legionnaires are talking about it, and then the Colossal Boy catches this cop, and his name is Deveron, he's come to the Legionnaire for help. And he tells this story. Him and his partner were chasing Universo. They're flying through an alien planet, and a giant plant comes up and eats his partner, and Universo hypnotizes him, and he's come here. They fly off to that planet, and we find out that the cop has been hypnotized by Universo, or so he thinks. And Universo, Chameleon Boy's hurt. The Legionnaires go looking. We see Light Last got knocked out, and Devron, what's going on? And there is Universo talking to him. Calm down. I'm simply returning a favor. Remember, you rescued me from a Legionnaire too. And the cop's going, stop playing dumb. You know why I did it. Maybe it would have been better if you didn't save my life that day. So now the truth comes out. I suspected something like that. It's you. You tricked me. And you find out Universo is really Chameleon Boy. And what the cop has to confess is this. I might as well confess. As I told you, the giant planet killer attacked my partner as we were about to close in on Universal. He was nearby hypnotizing the deadly growth, but he wasn't commanding the meteor to attack my partner. He was stopping another plant from devouring me. In a sheer panic, I froze. I wouldn't have met that fate if it weren't for Universo. His hypnotic halted the deadly claw just in time for me to scramble out of reach. Then he momentarily hypnotized me, allowing him to escape. He said he regretted seeing someone die so young, even if it was an enemy. From that day, I knew I couldn't rest until I could settle my score with Universo. I owed him that escape today. And he's dejected, and Light Last wakes up, and Chameleon Boy goes, it was the only way to find out. Sorry, it was... Chameleon Boy knocked her out, and he's a part. Sorry, Light Last, but it was the only way to find out who was side Devron was on. I'm happy to say he's with us. And Devron goes, now I've repaid my debt. We're even. We've got to give me a little chance to let me help you. Here's your stunner gun. We're wasting time, Devron. And then Light Last and Chameleon Boy fly off, and all of a sudden we see Timberwolf being thrown. It's like, and they think it's Universal. No, it's Superboy. He's beating up Shrinking Violet and throwing people around after them. Light Last and Chameleon Boy fighting, and it takes Devron. He shoots with his ray gun. He hurts Superboy, and you find out that it was Universo's hypnotized them all to think he was Superboy. Superboy's been unconscious in the spaceship, and they've saved the day. I like it. I remember this when I was a kid. I read this one a lot. I love the Science Police uniforms. I like this. It's a really good story. It's a good Universal story. It's just when I look at old 70s comics. I was summoned through DC Finest Team Up Savine that came out. It's a great book, guys. You got to try these DC Finest. That the villains that I think of are really powerful. It should have, if you're going to fight this villain, sometimes would be in these one and dones, like the Joker. I mean, the Joker in a single issue villainy, he's too big, right? And the same with Universo, because they use him later in bigger things. But it's just the way it is. So it was neat. It was good. I really like it. I really like this one. It's one I've always really liked. I think it holds up. It's very much like you could have done this same story with in the John Forte era. It's a Legion story. It just is what it is. I really like it. So we're going to go on to the next story, which is a very sweet story. It's called Lightning Lad's Day of the Dread. 7 pagers. Again, all the same creative things. This time the lineup is Cosmic Boy, Brainiac 5, Element Lad. Woohoo! He's not around as much as he should be. He comes, once Levitz takes over, he starts being used again. I guess Levitz liked him. Karate Kid, Lightning Lad, Light Lash, Shadow Lash, Shrinking Violet, and Lightning Lord. So basically, it's the anniversary. It's kind of a refresh of the Lightning family origin. And here's some of the stuff in this first page of it. Is Legionnaire headquarters, where at the moment one of the members is viewing in the viewing chamber, watching Visa slides of himself and of his brother Meek as babies, being held by their parents. A few years later, walking their baby sister Elia, and several years more when he and his brother were. And there's a zap as he destroys the screen. Hold it. What's this? Why did these memories suddenly throw him into a rage? The whole startling story is revealed in the secret of Lightning Lad's Day of the Dread. And Lightning Lad's mad. He storms out of the visit room. He pushes Shrinking Violet out of the way. He says he's taking the ship. And Karate Kid's flying off. The spaceship's waiting him so he can fly off to home. And Lightning Lad smacks Lightning Lad strikes Element Lad, who does a Iron Man land on the ground, and he flies at him and gets zapped and steals the spaceship. Brainiac 5, Lightning Brainiac 5 and Cosmic Boy are investigating, and then there is the, how these two brothers who were best friends and now are villains have the same power. Um, Light Lass is recovering in sick bay. She has attack. Everybody's got their, what is it? Like, this like mono, Rigel fever, another Rigel fever. And she's asleep, but she's thinking about, what happened. Lightning Lad flies off, and he into space. Painful memories of the terrible day a year ago. And what it is there's a statue floating in space, and then we see a memory that Element Lad's having, where him and Light Lass was, their parents were coming to rescue them, and they hear, and their transmission, they're in their next gen shuttle. It looks really like a next gen space shuttle, and it crashes, and they're dead, and they into an asteroid. So space is pretty big to run into an asteroid, but his parents are dead, and that asteroid's been turned into a statue commemorating them. It's their tomb. But he knew that he would run into Meek, his brother, Lightning Lord, and they just have a truce and commemorate their parents. And the final caption box says, the ultimate battle is already brewing. The Legion of Superheroes versus the Legion of Supervillains. Yes, finally, it's all out war. Seems simmering for years, but it's triggered in the next issue. So yes, the next issue is the return of the Secret Society, the Legion of Supervillains. It's a really good story. They really retell the Lightning sibling story over and over again with different things added to it. A lot of retro continuity happens to them, but it's fine. It's a really good one. This is a really good one. I remember this one, and it's just a neat reminder. And it's building these characters up. It's making them real people. I mean, it's overly dramatized. It's a comic book. It's a superhero comic book in the mid-'70s, but it really is a nice, sweet story, and it's beautifully drawn. So folks, that was probably a little longer than it needed to be, me rambling about 2 issues of Superboy and Legion of Superheroes. But these are both great comics. Do they even on the app? To pause and see if it was in the app. It's not. This is ridiculous. It's just what is in it. Well, maybe it's in... Is it in one of these trades? No, the first 2 Conway trades, hardcovers are in there, which is Superboy and the Legion and Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes. Oh, because the other 2, the titles changed to just Legion. But yeah, they're not in here. I really think it's terrible. I just really think it's terrible. And then anything I've still got a little bit more in Archive 11 to do. The next one's 207. It's a 100-page giant. I'm going to see if I can find a digital copy of that so I can read it, because I do want to talk about what's in it. I will probably do that next weekend. So this is going to drop probably Monday. Today is Sunday, the 8th of June. This will either go up after I get back, because we're going to see Dogma tonight. So this may not drop for a day, but it's going to drop this week, and so is a Starman with Will Payton. I'm going to get back on track, and then I'm going to edit one me and Dave recorded about Shazam. And Kirby's going to do a Starman issue with me again, which is cool. I'm looking forward to it. But these are great. Worth it. So, folks, I do want you to check out Long Live the Legion. I will put a link to the Podbean link. It's worth it. They're only about 8 episodes in, and they're jumping around. So I'm looking forward to it. And my pick of the week. My pick of this episode, my recommendation, I've been talking about East to West by Hickman. I think it's the best thing Hickman's written. I like it because it's not superhero, and it's just beautiful. I read recent comics. I got my comics this week, and there's some good stuff. There was JSA 8, which is a flashback to World War II, which is wonderful. A new Black Panther that's getting a lot of talk on the interwebs about a white Black Panther. I don't know what's going on. I think people are kind of jumping. It's Christopher Priest. I saw somebody goes, I don't know who this Priest person is, but it's like if you're going to badmouth Black Panther continuity being changed, at least know that a lot of the continuity, some of the most recent continuity was created by Christopher Priest, who is a Brit of color. He's not an African American. He's a Brit of color. And he wrote, to me, the definitive run of Black Panther. It is my favorite. It is as close to a spy comic as you get. It's wonderful. And he invented a lot of great stuff. So I'm waiting to see, because it's him and Joe Quesada, and it is, it's a possible future timeline. It's very much on that, I don't know. I'll wait and see, because I didn't really. Some of the stuff that Coates did with Black Panther, I really didn't like it. It was hard to read single issues. I'm eventually going to get that stuff in a collection at some point and read it, because I think his stuff, his cap reads way better in chunks and then single issues. And that's just the way I just can't absorb his single issues. Don't stick to the roof of my mouth like peanut butter. I kind of want them to, but his arcs really do. So, but I really recommend trying it out. It's a pretty good book. It's beautiful. But I think the big book of the week was actually the new Dan Slott Superman, which I haven't read, but it looks gorgeous. I'm just looking forward to. There's a lot of great stuff going on in DC. So again, recommendations: Long Live the Legion, and the new Black Panther book, and the new Dan Slott book. I'm going to give it a heavy lift. And if you're reading any of the Absolutes, just keep doing it. All right, folks, as always, appreciate you being on. I'm going to try to get back in a regular cycle. My job will fuck up a schedule. We had a big upgrade, and it fucked up my schedule, but it's okay. But as always, folks, please be safe, be smart, please be kind to one another. Keep an eye out for your friends who may get in the way of ICE. You all know my politics. I'm lefty as hell. I'm not happy with what's going on. My heart and my support is with the community of Paramount in California and the people there standing up for their neighbors. And just, we live in dark times. So be kind to one another. Read some comic books. Read some comic books about positive people making a difference. You know what? People make fun of them and the older comics, maybe so. They deserve some of it, but they do teach you a little bit about right and wrong. It's why I love it. So please be kind to one another and read some comics.